Spiritual Events Directory audience, this is Showcase Your Business. I am Michelle Scott and I am introducing Sandra Reiser, energy healer, and we are showcasing Sandra's business, balanced and centered. Welcome, Sandra.
Oh, well, thank you, Michelle. It's really lovely to be here. Really excited to share this time with you.
It is exciting, isn't it? And we love to talk spiritual wellness, holistic, and we're going to start off, Sandra, with hearing a little bit about your background. How would you describe, Sandra, what you do?
How would I describe what I do? I would say I am an energy worker, and it's come about through massage. So when I was around 25 when I went on a week or two holiday with a bunch of girls that I'd gone to high school with. We went to Perth for a couple of weeks, and one of my girlfriends, she was living in a bus. Her and her partner had been traveling in a bus around Australia, and they were in Perth at the time, and she'd been learning this 8-week massage course. And this was back in the 90s, I think around 93 or something, you know. So massage was a bit very, very woo-woo back then.
Exactly.
Yeah, and she did this 8-week course, and she needed somebody to be her body for the exam. And I was one of the last girls staying with her on the bus. All the other girls had to go back to Melbourne, and I went in with to be her body for her exam. And I don't think I'd ever had a massage before then, but there was something about it that really resonated with me.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was really beautiful, really relaxing, and I just really enjoyed the experience. And it was that session, and I was like, you know what, this is something that I could do, because I didn't go to university like many of my other girlfriends. I wanted to do something, but it didn't come to me so easily. You know, some kids after school, they know exactly where they're going.
Exactly what they want to do.
Exactly what they want to do. But I wasn't one of those people. And funnily enough, the woman who was teaching this course in Perth had a sister who had a massage school in Melbourne. And so I just went along to, I had to have an interview, and I went along, and that's where it began. I did a 12-month part-time course in Swedish massage and aromatherapy with a little bit of reflexology, a little bit of shiatsu. And that's where it really all began. And, you know, it's been an interesting experience, because over the years I've learned many different modalities.
Yes.
So from Swedish massage, aromatherapy, I did Indian head massage. I went on and learned Reiki. I moved to the UK probably 5 years after that. My first marriage broke up, and I decided that I would go and travel the world, and I went and lived in London. And then I went and learnt Indian head massage again down in Bright, you know, by the beach.
Wow, lovely.
Which was an amazing experience. I learnt more about the chakras and all the energy sort of work. I learnt Thai massage. I learnt, what else did I do? I did 12 months of Feng Shui, and then eventually made my way back to Melbourne and added hot stone, aroma touch, using essential oils. I've done psychic development. I've done a whole range of things, and like the energy side of work when it comes to massage, because what I found is that when people will relax if you create a really safe space for them, in a safe environment where they feel warm and comfortable enough where they can relax and they can let go. And I discovered that years ago. I was able to, I always had some form of psychic ability, even when I was younger.
Yes.
And just a certain knowing of what I needed to do in order to get to help somebody relax and unwind and get the benefit out of the massage, because I'm not necessarily a deep tissue or a deep pressure kind of person, but I know if I create the right environment for them or for you, it facilitates the space for you to relax and to release and to let go. You know, once somebody trusts you enough to feel safe enough to let go, that's when you can really get in and release the stuck energy and release all of those blockages.
And that, you know, Sandra, we were talking about, you know, the journey of, you know, becoming accredited in all of those different modalities. You know, that's taken, you know, that's taken some years. When was the, I'll just be a body for my friend? How long ago was that?
I think that was probably 93.
So that's a
94.
lot of,
93 or 94.
Yeah, so it's a lot of experience and, you know, a lot of extensive hands-on experience there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it sure is. A lot of, you know, I actually really love massage. There's something I find it fascinating, and I love the way that it can really transform the way somebody feels. You know, you've been to my studio. You know, you walk in the door.
Beautiful.
You just leave all your worries behind. You don't have to. You don't have to bring them with you. You can leave them at the door. If you want to pick them up later and take them back with you, that's perfectly fine. But in here, this is your little sanctuary, your little safe space, and everything is designed to help you relax and get the most out of the experience.
Yes.
So I like to think of it as a sort of a complete top to tail experience.
Yeah. And when you said that about touch, you know, the power of touch in positive psychology, you know, we were talking a couple of weeks ago about oxytocin. I think it's oxytocin, and that during COVID and the physical distancing and not being able to hug, that, you know, and that chemical not being released, it's one of the feel-good chemicals that, you know, so I wonder with the healing touch through massage, I wonder if those are the chemicals. There's lots of feel-good chemicals that must be being released, which is why we do come out, you know, the other end of that feeling so regenerated, rejuvenated.
Yeah, and relaxed. Yeah, that's true. It is oxytocin that is that sense of physical touch. And that's such an important part of human connection.
Being a human.
Because we need it. And you know, it's Mother Teresa had a saying, and I might not get this right word for word, but the general gist of it is, there are more people in this world starved for love than hunger.
Yes.
Right? And if you think about it like that, you know, when you think about love, love is touch, love is connection. And we know that there's a lot of people that are starving in this world, but to think that that's even more people that are missing that sense of connection and that sense of love, that's it's quite overwhelming, isn't it, to think about it like that?
Yes, very sad. Oh, well, so this is terrific. So there's lots of different you know, massage modalities in your healing kit. And then, of course, just over the last couple of years, what you have also become a master in is AreekeerA. So, you know, we would love to hear more about AreekeerA, because now you are bringing this into your energy healing work. Work.
Right. Yes, it is. So I came across AreekeerA about 2 years ago. I've been at a workshop event, and I was looking for something else to add to my little toolkit, to my repertoire. But I didn't want to just do anything. Like, I knew it had to be the right fit. And you know, sometimes we can get caught up in doing the next shiny thing, the next shiny thing, the next shiny thing. And I didn't want to do that. And I came across AreekeerA at this workshop, and I met Julie Lewin. So Julie Lewin is the woman who developed AreekeerA. Julie's a medical intuitive, and at its basic, if I can summarize it in just a few words, AreekeerA is really a form of energy healing, which is the revolutionary alignment of the 7 bodies. So we've got the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the auric, the energy, and the etheric bodies. And AreekeerA works to align all of those together with really simple but powerful techniques that I can incorporate either into my massage. I can incorporate them as an AreekeerA session, which is a separate thing altogether. I can incorporate them into meditation, and I can even incorporate them into the women's circles that I do. And how AreekeerA works is it really works on the holographic body. So if you were to think about a negative of a photo, for example, you know, back in the old days, we had the old photos, and you used to take the negative out of the back of the camera once you take all your photos, and you take it to the camera place and they would develop it.
Yes.
The photo would be an image of the negative. So the way that Julie explains it is that if you have, you can imagine the holographic body to be like the negative of the photo. And if you can get into the holographic realm and you can change the holographic body, it will have an impact on the physical body, which is just like amending the negative and getting the negative printed, and it comes up on the actual photo. So that's how it works. And we use a combination of visualization and certain templates to help really release the stress and the tension and all that anxiety and worry out of your body.
How amazing.
It is.
And I know it's quite it's quite extensive. Is there any other scientific any other science behind it, Sandra?
Yes, there is. So back in around the 1950s, I don't know if I've got the date exactly correct, but there were scientists that discovered that we have a holographic body, or back then they used to call it a phantom body. And the scientists actually developed this measuring instrument so that they could, say I'm sitting in this chair, and I get up and I leave, there's an energetical imprint that's left behind in the chair. What scientists were able to measure, and they called it back then what did they call it? They called it like a duplicate of a physical body, because the energy stays there, right? And apparently the energy from me sitting in the chair will stay here for about 24 hours. And it's now called the phantom body. But you can tell, you can tell too, when you walk into a room, if you don't see anyone, you get a sense if somebody's in that space or not, don't you?
Absolutely. And you've just reminded me that, you know, when you stare at people, if you just stare at people, for some reason, at some point, they'll turn around. You can feel it.
That's right. You can. So it is, you know, there's evidence that what's the David Wilcock, he wrote this book, The Hidden Science of Lost Civilizations, and he talks about quantum physics and the holographic body, and basically, you know, a validation of what, you know, Julie's discovered all by herself. If you can go into that space and do the work on the holographic body, it has a direct result on the physical body, and really, 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 really powerful.
Just exactly, really, really, just very profound, and you know, very, very profound. So, and what I love about AreekeerA is that, as you said, Sandra, there's just so many different ways in which you can use that modality. You can bring it into so many different sessions that you've already that you've already nurtured and developed and have up and running. We're going to talk a little bit more about that a little bit further in. But at the same time, you know, we can also come to you for a personal one-on-one session. So how does that look? I know that, you know, we can come and see you in real life, but we can also, you know, if we aren't in Melbourne, if you want to be able to help interstate and international clients, then how would that look if you did that virtually?
Oh, well, it works because it's energy. I mean, it works. It works virtually, and obviously when you're here in the studio with me, creating a virtual session is as simple as either getting on a Zoom or some form. We don't actually ever need to see each other. We could use the phone, if, you know, Viber, the mobile phone, and it's just a matter of tuning into that person's energy. We have a conversation to understand what it is that they're hoping to get from a session, and then tuning into that person's energy and just using those templates that I've learnt over the last couple of years to help work through and break down those blockages. And the person on the other end of the line would just need to be lying down really, or sitting comfortably in a chair, and eyes closed, and they will feel the shift they will feel the shift in the energy as we work through the treatment.
Lovely. So you would, so obviously before the session, there would be a little bit of talk therapy to find out where they're at and what they need to work on.
That's right. Yeah, you need to get a clear understanding of what they were hoping to get from the session, where they're currently at. And I did a number of when I was studying Julie's work, I actually did a number of my case studies in the virtual space. Even before COVID, there was a woman based over in the Americas that I worked with, and people interstate, or even just people that were in Melbourne but far away. And didn't want to come physically here. So it works. It really does work. And it's really simple. I don't know if I've said this already. It's simple, it's powerful, and really effective. And even I can teach people some of the templates that they can actually take away and use by themselves, so they don't need me. They can use them in further sessions to help when if they're starting to feel a bit of worry or anxiety, that will help bring them, because the idea is you want people to feel that they can start to drop down their anxiety level, to drop down to a lower level of normal, feel more present and connected within their bodies.
And so if you had to, Sandra, if you had to share with us some of the things that it can help us with, obviously anxiety would be one of them. Are there any other sort of elements or issues you could highlight?
Yes, there are. So, I mean, stress is a big one. Do you know that I think in Australia alone, we spend around $10 billion a year on work cover compensation claims, and that is just on the claims that are brought forward.
Lodged.
You know, that's an enormous amount.
Yeah.
And what happens, stress is like I like to think of it a bit like puff pastry, you know, it's like a layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. And the energy work from AreekeerA really helps to release that stress. So stress, anxiety, worry. If you want to sleep better, because if you can release that layer of stress and that layer of anxiety and worry, your body feels lighter. You're able to sleep better. You can function better. You're able to think clearer. You can perform better. You're more likely to have a stable mood, so that you're not snapping at people and getting cranky, getting angry at your family and your loved ones. So improves your mood. When you're not carrying all of this extra stuff, you're your thought processes are clearer too. So answers to things that you might be struggling to find can come through a lot easier. So it's really, it's all encompassing, isn't it? The idea
really
is
is.
to take those layers of stress off you so that you can come back to as a sense of normal and to be able to perform at a better, more optimal level for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know with AreekeerA that you have, there are lots of healing templates to bring you, from the negative back to, back to zero, back to, as you said, that, cool, calm, collected. But also there are, correct me if I'm wrong, Sandra, but there's also lots of templates in AreekeerA that are actually all designed to for you to flourish, for you to flourish, for you to really reach those heights and those levels that perhaps you weren't able to before because of fear and challenges.
Yes, there are. I mean, there's an enormous toolkit that Julie has developed with this work. And for people that want to use it to flourish, it's about just committing to doing the practice on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But the beauty about it is once you get the gist of the template and the work, you only need a couple of minutes, like no more than probably 5 minutes a day to do some of these healing templates, because time is different when you're working from a holographic space, right? We're not in the physical realm. We're in other realms. Time that just goes really quickly. So you're able to integrate and work through it really quickly.
So it can change. You don't have to spend months and months and years in therapy. You can, you can really change things quite quickly. And so, Sandra, as you say, you've brought these into your meditation groups. You run meditation groups every Monday. You've got them up and running now online.
Yes, and I also, starting last week, I brought them into the corporate space. So I run a Tuesday.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I run a Tuesday lunchtime group at a large organisation down in Frankston for half an hour. So that's really, really exciting.
Very.
Yeah, I had the first week last week. So that will be something that will happen on a regular basis.
Excellent.
With the isolation that COVID has brought and brings a lot of fear and a lot of uncertainty for a lot of people. And a 30-minute session in a corporate organisation, we're not meditating for 30 minutes. We're spending maybe 10, 15 minutes learning one of these templates that just, like I said before, just helps release that little bit of stress, that energetical stress off the body, so that people can go away, go back to their desk and feel a bit more clear-headed, a bit lighter, and then they can function better in their day-to-day role.
I love it. And you've got so many healing templates in your kit that I'm guessing every meditation session that you're running is different.
Yes, it is. It is. And it's so tomorrow is my next one. They're always different. And even what I've discovered too is that you can add bits onto the template. So you may have one template, but I've been doing some work with Julie. She's been running an AreekeerA toolkit course over the last few weeks, and she has her basic template and then adds pieces to it. So I can adapt that and do the same thing for people in the groups I offer.
So if our audience want to find you for the meditation group, your website, Sandra?
It's my Facebook page at the moment.
Wonderful.
My Facebook page is Balanced and Centred.
Balanced and Centred, lovely.
So you'll find me there.
Excellent. And I'm guessing, I know that you, when we talk about the women's circles, you run women's circles, in real life on the Mornington Peninsula. And of course, I come and, a bunch of other gorgeous ladies attend those monthly sessions. Then COVID came along, kind of threw, a spanner in the works for so many of us. And, but you evolved from there to running women's circles online. So tell us a little bit about women's circles. What's so special? What's up with women's circles?
Look, women's circles aren't really anything new. They've been around since the dawn of time. Women are, I think, naturally inclined to gather together and to support each other and to create a community.
Yes.
And, there were religious circles. A couple of hundred years ago, women were getting burnt at the stake for being thought of as witches for gathering together.
Yeah.
It really is an opportunity for, I guess, like-hearted and like-minded women to gather together to talk about the stuff that's happening in their lives, to potentially do some spirituality practices, whether that's meditation or some other techniques or practices that help them feel a lot more present within their bodies. And, in the 80s and 90s, I think it was not very cool was too woo-woo back then to be considered, think about doing women's circles. But over the years and increasingly now, it's more important than ever because, we might feel that on Facebook, I might have 700 friends, but in reality, I don't really. I have a handful, so we're more connected than ever before through all these different social media platforms. But actually, when it comes down to, what's going on in here, in our hearts and in our minds, we're probably less connected than we really would like to be. And, we might go to a party thinking we know lots of people, but we can still go home feeling quite alone. And a women's circle is a place where it's not gossip and chit chat. We're talking about the stuff that really matters to us, whatever that is, So that's what I think is really important about women's circle. And it's another vehicle for trust and for building connection, because I've noticed it since I've been facilitating these for nearly 12 months now. The women that show up regularly, they respond in different ways. There's a community of trust in there. We know that whatever is said in that circle doesn't go beyond that circle, and everything is welcome. And some women have that in other communities, some women don't have that. So this is just another option, another way for you to find that sense of connection. I guess it links in with the massage that I do. It's a safe space. If you know that you are safe and you can trust me, then you're more likely to let down some of the guards and let yourself be seen for all that you are. And this is not just exclusive for women, but when a woman can be seen for all that she is, it's so beautiful, it's so healing, and it's so powerful. Not just for the woman, but for those that are witnessing that, because it almost gives them permission to do the same thing. And I think that's one of the most beautiful, important things about a women's circle.
Yeah, lovely. And what I like, Sandra, is how you create the space and hold that space. So, right from, walking into the room, and you always have a centerpiece. Yeah. So what's the idea with the centerpiece?
Oh, it's I guess that's the center for where we gather. And see, this is another thing that I learned when I went on retreat with Julie to do my practitioner level training, and I learned about making flower mandalas.
Yes.
So a woman, you always need to have a centerpiece in a woman's circle, but I've taken that and created a flower centerpiece in every circle. And the last few times, even in the virtual space, I felt that it was still important to create that centerpiece. I've used flowers out of the garden, and what I find is beautiful. I think about how I'm going to do all of this days beforehand, and then it's a matter of what's in the garden. And making that beautiful centerpiece is a form of creativity and a form of mindfulness. So I actually get to drop into my own body, into my own wisdom, and create that, and that sort of sets the tone for the rest of the evening.
Yes, and it's so beautiful, and it's such as you say, it's a ritual that holds so much meaning. And then in every women's circle, just like your meditations, there's always you hold that space for women to be heard. And also, there's lots of different tools and therapies that you also bring into women's circles. And you'll also be running women's circles in our wellness community. You'll also be offering women's circles once a month in that portal as well. But we're quickly running out of time. Can you believe it, Sandra?
I believe it.
So we are showcasing Balanced and Centered tonight, and Sandra Reiser, energy healer. So Sandra, we might end the session with, what do you love the most? What do you love the most about Balanced and Centered, and everything that you've created and nurtured in your business?
Do you know what? There's so much. I think I love the most that I finally gave myself permission to do something that I really love to do. And the more that from the massage, the fact that all this creative, spiritual world has opened up to me, and it's just, it's almost like playing, if that makes sense,
Yes,
because it's
the joy of expression.
So much fun, and just to know that that what's in my heart that I believe I need to express is well received, and that people are actually getting benefit from it. It's
absolutely.
It's just a circle of just wonder and delight. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know that you've had a number of clients that have come to you, really sort of off the back of, some difficult life issues, some difficult situations and experiences, and over the past 12 months they have really transformed. So again, on Facebook, Sandra's community is Balanced and Centered. This has been Showcase Your Business, and we have been shining the spotlight on Sandra Reiser, energy healer. So thank you for joining the session, Sandra.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. Excuse me. Thank you. I really appreciate everything that you do for us, and it's been great to be here.
Well, this is courtesy of Spiritual Events Directory. So we are so lucky to have all of this support, and connection, as you say, is so important. And we're finding it everywhere. We find it in Spiritual Events Directory, and we find it at Balanced and Centered.